She said it meant nothing, but the way her voice trembled told me everything. The story begins quietly, without drama, just an ordinary evening that should have ended like any other. The narrator, a 22-year-old man, walks into a warm, softly lit living room where a 40-year-old woman waits for him. She has that gentle, mature grace that always makes him feel grounded. Her long black hair is tied loosely, a few strands falling around her lightly tanned face. Her posture is composed, but her eyes, they are restless, unable to stay still on one thing for more than a second. He senses something immediately, that subtle shift in the air, the way silence settles when someone is trying to hold something inside. She starts with a small smile, the kind people use when they're trying to soften the weight of what's coming. She reaches out, letting her fingertips brush his wrist, a touch that usually calms him, but tonight it only confuses him. Her hand is warm, steady, familiar, but the warmth doesn't reach her expression. Her first words are quiet. "We should talk." He feels the air tighten in his chest. She says it gently, but he hears the distance in it. She keeps her arms wrapped across her torso, almost protecting herself. Her throat moves with a nervous swallow she tries to hide. The living room seems too bright for the conversation she's about to start. She tells him there was a moment, something that happened, something she didn't plan. She says it quickly, trying to slide past the details, insisting it was small, meaningless, without depth or intention. "It was nothing," she repeats with a soft, almost apologetic exhale. But her voice breaks on the last word, and that tiny crack in her voice hits him harder than the confession itself. His mind freezes. His stomach drops. The warmth in the room suddenly feels too bright, too open, like it exposes every raw feeling he didn't know he had. He tries to process her words, but all he can hear is the tremble she tried to hide. She steps closer, placing her hand gently on his forearm, whispering that she didn't expect this, didn't expect to care so much about what he thinks. Her touch lingers, thumb brushing softly against his skin. It's tender, fragile, full of regret. Her eyes look up at him with fear and honesty, waiting for him to pull away or hold on. He doesn't know what hurts more, what she did, or the fact that she's scared of losing him. The scene ends with him standing there, heart pounding, her hand still resting on his arm, and everything between them suddenly changed. The next part unfolds the following morning. The narrator wakes with the heavy ache of unresolved truth sitting behind his ribs. The house feels too quiet, the kind of quiet that follows a night spent thinking instead of sleeping. When he enters the kitchen, she's already there, standing near the counter with her hands wrapped around a mug she hasn't taken a sip from. She looks up the moment he steps in, and something in her face softens. Her long black hair is loose, falling over her shoulders in soft waves. She opens her mouth to speak, but hesitates, lips pressing together in uncertainty. Her apology isn't dramatic. It's soft, almost whispered, the kind of apology that carries more emotion than words can hold. She admits she didn't handle things right, that fear made her minimize what happened because she didn't want to hurt him. Every word she says trembles with the weight of what she didn't mean to break. She steps closer, reaching out slowly, giving him a chance to pull back. Her fingers brush the side of his arm, a gentle touch that warms his skin but knots his stomach. She looks into his eyes, searching for forgiveness she's not sure she deserves. The air between them feels charged, not with anger, but with the kind of emotional honesty that leaves two people exposed. He doesn't know what to say. He wants to understand, but the hurt is still fresh. Her voice cracks again when she whispers, "I didn't want to lose you." That one sentence hangs between them like a fragile thread, thinning, trembling, but still there. In the days that follow, neither of them knows how to act. They exchange polite greetings, soft smiles that feel a little too forced, and conversations that end too quickly. The comfortable closeness they once shared now feels cautious, careful, fragile. He spends more time outside, long walks, wandering thoughts, sitting at a park bench staring at nothing in particular. And yet, no matter how far he walks, he constantly finds himself thinking about her. Every corner of his mind echoes with memories of her laughter, her warmth, the way she'd look at him like she saw something worth caring about. She notices his absence. Her eyes follow him when he leaves, lingering with unspoken worry. She sits on the couch some nights with her hands folded on her lap, trying to respect the space he needs while silently wishing he'd sit beside her like before. But even with distance, the connection doesn't weaken. It stretches instead, thin, delicate, but undeniably alive. One evening, he returns home to find her waiting at the kitchen table. Not tense, not forcing anything, just waiting. A single soft lamp lights the room, casting a warm glow over her features. She invites him to sit. Her voice is steady, determined in the way people sound when they've rehearsed every word in their head. But when she begins talking, the rehearsed structure falls apart. What comes out instead is truth, raw, unfiltered, quiet truth. She tells him she felt something she didn't expect, something that scared her, something she thought she wasn't allowed to feel. And in her panic, she tried to reduce it to nothing. Her hand rests near his on the table, not touching, but close enough that the warmth radiates. He notices how her fingers tremble slightly. She looks into his eyes, not running, not hiding. Her honesty brings the tension down, leaving room for clarity. For the first time since the confession, he feels her opening herself to him without fear. Later that night, he prepares to leave the room, but she follows him to the hallway. Her steps are soft, almost hesitant. When he turns to look at her, she stops just inches away, close enough that her breath grazes his skin. She reaches for his arm, her fingertips brushing his sleeve first, then pressing lightly against his forearm. Her touch lingers longer this time, warmer, more intentional. Her eyes lift to his with a depth that sends a quiet shiver through his chest. There's a long pause, that charged silence where neither moves, neither speaks, because everything they want to say is written across their faces. Her long black hair falls forward as she leans in slightly, not enough to cross a line, but enough to make his pulse race. She whispers that she cares, more than she meant to, more than she knows how to handle. Her voice wavers, but her touch stays steady. The moment hangs heavy between them, suspended on the edge of something neither is ready to pursue, yet neither wants to lose. The next morning, she waits for him outside in the backyard garden. Sunlight reflects softly against her hair, and the breeze sways the leaves around her. Her posture is steady, but her eyes reveal the storm she's been holding back. She confesses she's been scared, not of what she feels, but of what he might feel in return. She explains that she spent so many years learning not to depend on anyone that letting her self-care now feels dangerous. She looks at him with a vulnerability he rarely sees, open, unguarded, unmistakably sincere. He steps closer, closing the distance between them. She exhales shakily, like she's been holding that breath for days. For the first time since the confession, she lets her guard drop completely. And he realizes the fear wasn't about her mistake. It was about losing him. Their closeness here isn't romantic. It's emotional, grounding, necessary. He lets her speak until her voice steadies, offering her the space she always offers him. The final part brings them back to where everything started, sitting together in the living room. This time, there's no fear between them, no avoidance, no distance. She sits beside him, close but not crowded. Their shoulders touch lightly, a subtle contact that warms the space between them. She talks softly, and he listens, not out of obligation, but because her voice brings a strange peace he didn't know he missed. She tells him she wants to move forward slowly, carefully, honestly. No more minimizing feelings. No more running from what scares her. She reaches for his hand, hesitating for only a second before her fingers slip into his. Her touch is warm, steady, hopeful. He realizes it's something quietly powerful. She didn't break him on purpose. They were both trying to protect themselves in different ways. And now, sitting together, they're finally choosing the same direction. The story ends with them leaning gently against each other, sharing a silence that feels safe, earned, and full of possibility.